Does leniency in our criminal justice system in a largely insecure border embolden criminals? A former DHS official and former police officer says yes, it does. Joining me now to talk about the recent incidents of illegal immigrant crime and attacks on law enforcement officers is Scott Erickson. He's the director of the Center for Law and Justice at the America First Policy Institute. Scott Erickson, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be with you.
Scott, Lindy Jones and Guy Rivera, both career criminals with extensive criminal records, they were indicted for the murder of Officer Jonathan Diller, the New York City police officer who was killed. Why were these individuals with such extensive rap sheets back on the streets, first of all, and what reforms do you think could have been in place to prevent this from happening?
It's a question we shouldn't have to ask repeatedly, day in, day out, week in, week out. They were out on the street because of bad policy, bad progressive criminal justice policy under the guise of reform that attempts to keep people out of jail and use alternatives to detention and other forms of monitoring that just don't work that well. And when you have somebody who's been arrested 10, 15, 20 times, often for violent crimes, there's no reason that person should be on the street. And so the officer in New York, unfortunately, encountered that individual and lost his life as a result.
In the state of Oregon, the governor just signing a bill into law that recriminalizes hard drugs. We don't know what the effects of not having that in place, how many deaths that have led to, but you know, with what we're talking about here, this bad policy is directly leading to the loss of life.
Bad policies have consequences, and you know, this pie in the sky Pollyannish idea that you can decriminalize something and make it go away, well, the behavior is still going to occur, and in fact it's going to occur in abundance when you decriminalize it and remove any sort of deterrence or accountability for the actions of those individuals. And Oregon's a great example. You know, the use of drugs skyrocketed, untold numbers of young lives in particular were lost, and even in an extraordinarily liberal enclave like Oregon, they had to pull back and realize what they did was wrong.
I want to get your thoughts on Shenyun Performing Arts. This is a New York-based performing arts troupe with a tagline, China Before Communism, embraced around the world, essentially, Europe, the United States, Canada, only not allowed to be performed in China. Shenyun is facing attacks right here on U.S. soil. This is believed to be linked to the CCP, transnational repression. How can a foreign entity like the Chinese Communist Party infiltrate our own government?
The Chinese Communist Party has adherents and people all over the world that monitor their citizens and keep an eye and try to use intimidation tactics to prevent what they're doing, prevent their free expression of speech. And that's what's going on here with Shenyun. And some of the attacks, whether it be vandalizing buses that could very well lead to catastrophic accidents that could lead to death, whether it's calling in false bomb threats, trying to upend or intimidate individuals from exercising, again, their free expression. All of this stuff erodes the ability of these individuals, whether it's Shenyun or any others, to express their opinions on issues related to China.